Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is June 8th, 2022, and today is Tuesday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, the market's really lulling into summer trading, which means that we're on lighter volume and less volatility just across the board. Now, there's no major economic events scheduled for today, but as we look at the various markets, starting out with the Forex symbols, the major pair is tapering off after having a nice strengthening trend. Now looking at the indices, the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ both drift sideways. Now looking at commodities, gold and oil pretty much unchanged. Looking at the stocks, the tech stocks actually advanced yesterday. And lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin on support. So let's take a look at the markets and see what potentially can happen today. So here we go. We're taking a look at the Euro USD at a 1 hour chart. Generally, we look at a 4 hour chart. And just to give you perspective, we're trading right now 106.82 from yesterday to today. We've gone down about 40 pips from 107.13. So that is a really tight range to be trading in. Nonetheless, there's still some momentum, okay? There's still some movement in the market. So, if you're trading this higher range, okay, of just getting perfectly in, perfectly out, you could jump into it. Now, we are hitting a minor support-ish here on 106.82. Next real support is 106.62, which is about 20 pips less. Again, not a big deal. If we look at a daily chart, that's how tight it is. You can see it quite clearly how tight it is. Now looking at the GBP USD also, just being in a very tight range between 125.60-ish level and 124.82-ish level, but that's a decent range. Maybe we're at the top of the range here. Might pay to short this just a little bit just to take advantage of that. Now looking at the Australian dollar, also retracing. So everything's across the board. Dollar getting stronger, but again, it's not a big market swing as we're looking at the markets kind of consolidate our trading size right now. Now looking at gold, trading 1848, really unchanged. And if we look at crude oil, also really unchanged from day to day. If we look at this 4 hour chart, we've been at this between 118 and 120-ish level. We're right there at the upper range of it. So, it could bounce above. If it does push above 120, that's where I would get a little bit more interest in it. Now jumping into the U.S. markets, the Dow Jones trading at 33,072. Now look at this, okay? We've been in this really tight range ever since we've between 32,666 and 33,500, which is a decent range, okay? 32,700 to 33,300 is 600-point move range, really. Okay, so we're in a $3,000 on a one lot. We're about $3,000 range. Okay, so that's not bad. All right, so keep that in mind as this is just consolidating in this area. Now, the stocks are getting stronger though. Okay, so if we look at the NASDAQ, it's just perking up there. Okay, it's not pushing higher. It's not giving us that push higher necessarily, but if we look at all the green candles, that's when the volume actually perks up. So looking at Apple, okay, did perk up yesterday to 148. Facebook also perking up to 195. Microsoft perking to 272. And the reason I say perking is just not enough oomph in it. There's no taking out of, like we saw last year or 2 years ago when the markets completely took off. Looking at Amazon, you can't even look at it anymore because it's, just trading in this, ridiculous situation because of the 21 split. So the graphical representation of it on a 1 hour, 30-minute even, and a 15-minute is completely distorted, right? Once we get into the 1 minute chart, you get a little bit more exacting of what's going on in it. So it's at that top of the range. 123 times 20 gives you about 2,500. So it's it's really at the top of the range. Question is whether or not it's going to push higher because it's now a cheaper stock. Okay, but it's still the technicals are always going to be there and the fundamentals are always going to be there. If they're not creating new revenue and they're not creating new business, then whether it's a $2,000 stock or it's a $100 stock, doesn't make a difference. It's just all the same thing. Now looking at Tesla, also trading a little bit higher. So nothing really to write home about when it comes to the stocks. Now Bitcoin is getting kind of interesting. And the reason is that we've been in this really tight range. All of a sudden we perk up to 31,200 and then we default right at the top of the range. And sure enough, that's where we're at right now, 30,241. So keep this in mind. I mean, you want to buy the bottom of the range, you want to sell the top of the range. Okay, range-bound trading is not bad, but just be aware of it and just put your stop losses just there. Okay, we are getting to the heart of the week in terms of summer trading. So we're really, you see that things are getting lighter. You see that, you know, it's not as extreme as the moves that we had back in May or even before May in April and March. So just keep that in mind. So the next couple of months might be a little bit light. So be responsible. Don't trade too hard and don't push things that are not there. This is Fred Razak, and I wish everybody a great trading day. Thank you.